Hey everyone, Warwick's here. So, new alpha build dropped today, so there's been some new class changes that have come through. Obviously, we're going to focus on the monk changes because that's the class that I'm probably going to be maining so far in the War Within. And it's the class I'm obviously the most knowledgeable about, I feel. So, we're going to talk about the changes to this. I'm learning some other classes and things like that, and some other specs that I feel like I know a lot about. Frosty K didn't really see much in the way of changes. And Guardian Druid has seen very few changes so far outside of the hero trees for it. So, kind of sitting on seeing bear changes. So, in the meantime, we're just going to nerd out about Monk. So, some new changes came through today, and there's some pretty cool stuff. I mentioned in the last one, I'm not really excited about what they've done with Brewmaster so far, but they made some changes today that I think are going to be really nice QOL stuff. But we'll get to that in just a second. So let's start with the fact that they made some changes to Conduit of the Celestials. This is the hero tree for Windwalker and Mistweaver monks. The one that for Mistweaver, at least, I'm particularly excited about. For Windwalker, I'm kind of meh on both of them, but maybe some small changes they made here will help with making this tree feel a little bit better for Windwalker. Now, thematically, Conduit of the Celestials is the tree that I'm most excited about from a thematic standpoint because I loved. We always used corrosive dosage in Torghast because it was just so broken to just vivify stuff and everything dies. But there was a secondary build that I used to do for fun where you would just get all the Celestials. Like, you'd enter combat, your Celestials would spawn. When you spawned your Celestial, other Celestials would spawn, and you'd be able to get like the whole army basically. And Con of the Celestials kind of plays into that style of, or that idea of play. So Strength of the Ox now additionally refunds 2 stacks of teaching to the monastery after being consumed for Windwalker monks. That's actually really good. I believe it only started off doing 1, so that is actually a nice little quality of life change. Makes that effect feel a little bit more powerful. So again, positive change, small buff to Conduit Celestial's tree, which, I mean, these things are going to be, I think, very much on tight tuning knobs. So I'm curious to see how it's going to impact the viability of Conduit for Windwalker monks. Flight of the Red Crane now grants 1 stack of Mana Tea for Mistweaver monks and 20% increased regeneration for Windwalker monks for 6 seconds after when activated. I like that. I think it's a little bit of a tweak, but again, I think it's making it a little bit more balanced and fair overall. Energy regeneration for Windwalker monks is interesting. I don't know what the energy economy looks like on Alpha. I don't have Alpha, and I haven't been watching heavily a bunch of people play Windwalker monk all that much. But but if it's a little bit more energy starved because we don't have things like Ascension being built into, well, I think we still have Ascension, so we still have like a deep energy pool. So I don't know how much this is actually going to be useful or not. So I'm kind of on the change. I think it's probably fine, but I don't know overall if it's going to be like a significant change that we need to like celebrate or a dreadful change that we need to like boo out the herbs. All right. Heart of the Jade Serpent now activates from Strike of the Windlord for Windwalker monks instead of Storm, Earth, and Fire. Developer note here, Heart of the Jade Serpent's activation rate would outpace Storm, Earth, and Fire's recharge rate, eventually leading to wasted procs. I really like this. I think this is a good change, actually. Putting on a Strike of the Windlord, which is a 45-second cooldown, is really going to help make Heart of the Jade Serpent feel a little bit more fluid. So I really like that change overall. So 2 out of the 3 changes I'm definitely very, very pleased with for Conduit of the Celestials. Curious to see how it's going to impact gameplay. Obviously, I haven't seen that or haven't really paid attention to it all that much, but it is something I'm curious about. All right, Brewmaster Monk. Now, I mentioned in my last video that I felt the Brewmaster changes weren't all that good. I don't think any of the talents they introduced actually had major impact on it. Although I've seen some people say the talent that replaces Healing Elixir, where when you fall below 30% health, you gain a 20% absorb shield, or a bigger one if you have a lot of Purified Stagger. I've seen a lot of people say that talent is actually really good, but my ideal version of Brewmaster Monk is that if you play really well, you don't really drop below 50% health. That's my ideal playstyle. So a talent like that to me feels wasted. Maybe I'm just a little bit behind in my theory of the spec, but whatever, man. That said, removed improved Celestial Brew functionality is now baseline for Brewmaster Monks. Excellent. Removed improved Purifying Brew functionality is now baseline for Brewmaster monks. Excellent. Elusive Footwork is now 1 point. Excellent. Positions adjusted for Invoke Najal, the Black Ox, Walk with the Ox, and improved Najal, the Black Ox. So this is actually really good. Obviously, we're going to go take a look at it on the tree, assuming it's updated. Let's just choose Master of Harmony. Okay, so they basically took Invoke Nijao, Walk with the Ox, and Improve Nijao the Black Ox, shifted it over a row, swapped places with Exploding Keg and Storm Stout's last keg, which is no longer a capstone, and moved everything up some talent points. I think this is really, really good. So it now makes these talents here with Ox Stance and your Press the Advantage into Call to Arms and Chi Surge feel a little bit more impactful. It does basically mean that you don't have a capstone row now, which is a little concerning, but overall I think it's really good. Now, by removing the things with Celestial Brew and Improved Purifying Brew, you really start to open up some talent points in this tree now, and Elusive Footwork, which is... Where'd it go? Yeah, so Elusive Footwork right here, being, speaking invited to raid, being 1 point now instead of 2, I think is like very, very impactful. So like you're kind of still running off of something like this where you know you're going to be grabbing at least these talents. Still grab Zen Med. Still grab Shadowboxing Treads. Still grab Pretense of Instability. You gotta grab one of these. I think August Blessing or One with the Wind. Probably gonna grab that because August Blessing may or may not actually be useful depending on what the sustain looks like. So you grab, and I think at this point now with the talent changes, you're still gonna grab Training of Dejao because you need it to access down here. And I think this talent actually could potentially be entirely skipped, but then you would have to grab Walk with the Ox, and we need 2 points here. So I think you just grab Walk with the Ox so you can get Exploding Keg and Storm Stouts. You then grab Elusive Footwork, and then you grab Weapons of Order. And I do think you take Ox Stance, and then then you grab Black Ox Adept, and potentially an AoE. Like now all of a sudden we like right here we have everything that we need. So we have 5 points to play with. Now all of a sudden this makes some build choices I think much better. So you can grab obviously Charred Passions. I think you're going to be needing that. But now grabbing potentially Chi Surge, grabbing Ox Stance with Black Ox Adept. I don't think Heightened Guard is all that good. You can come over and grab Counter Strike. You can put a couple points in High Tolerance. You can grab Bob and Weave. You can come grab Celestial Flames if you want to do that. So now all of a sudden you can grab Elixir of Determination. With the removing those, like shrinking 3 points off the tree has really opened up this tree in a way that I think is quite good. Now I'm still not the biggest fans of all the new talents. I do think like One with the Wind or August Blessing, you're definitely going to have to take one. I would like to see maybe a connection from Elixir of Determination down to Nijao to allow you even more potential build options. But I really like these changes. Now in single target, you probably go grab something like Strike at Dawn, into Counter-Strike, into Facepalm. Anvil and Stave potentially could be there as well. Like there's all sorts of options. I've got friends leaving Discord, sorry. So now there's all sorts of options in this tree for some build diversity, and I really, really appreciate that. And it's crazy what happens when you just took 3 talents that should have never been a talent in the first place and remove them and bake the functionality into the baseline abilities. What happens? It is actually like really, really good stuff. So very happy with these changes for Brewmaster Monk. I'm very happy with what they've done with this. Mistweaver Monk, Pool of Mist. Rising Mist now has 3 charges, and basically Rising Sun Kick reduces Renewing Mist recharge, and Renewing Mist reduces Rising Sun Kick's recharge. Really like this, and they made Teachings of the Monastery a baseline effect. So that's the one that made you stack up to 3 times, 4 times with Jade Fire Stomp, to where your Blackout Kicks would kick additional times. That's just now baseline, so that frees up a talent, but you're also gaining a talent with Pool of Mists. Refreshing Jade Wind, no longer an active ability, not tied to activating Thunder Focus T. Really like that. Refreshing Jade Wind didn't see a lot of play. All of a sudden, it could be a thing that you do now. Yulon's Whisper has been redesigned. When channeling Manatee, you exhale a Breath of Yulon, healing allies within 15 yards every 5 seconds. I actually really like that as well. It's a nice little change. Makes it so that you're not completely just taking yourself out of a fight if you need to chug your Manatee. So really like that. And then they made it so that she Harmony is cannot jump to a new target during the fact that you get the first 8 seconds of its duration. So basically, and they're trying to reduce the amount of active auras on frames, which I like as someone that's been playing with default frames over recently. Crane Style has been moved to teaching his monetary previous location. Nice. And Misty Peaks now has a 4/8 chance to activate and extend Enveloping Mist on targets if Enveloping Mist is present, which previously would not proc. So this is a really, really nice change overall. And a quick note for Windwalker monks, Jadefire Fist is a new talent. Basically, when your Fist of Fury channel ends, you're going to get a Jadefire Stomp every 20 seconds, and it shares a developer note with Jadefire Stomp. In concept, I think it's interesting. And I think I kind of like it better than just being able to activate Jadefire Stomp initially. I'll have to think about it some more and see what I think, but my initial reaction is I like this talent. Now, playing around Jadefire Stomp is still not something I hope that we don't feel forced to have to do. So maybe this talent doesn't really see any play if that's the case, but in practice, I like the idea because it removes a button while still gaining a pretty cool effect in Jadefire Stomp. Obviously not implemented in alpha, but we want your feedback early. Let us know what you think. I'm going to think on it some more, and I'll probably post some stuff up on Twitter, which rotates up here in my lower thirds in the upper left corner here. Make sure you go follow me there. So my initial thoughts on these changes is that these are all good changes, I think, for the most part. I'm not super excited about Flight of the Red Crane, but probably just need to look at the tree again. But I really like what they've done with Brewmaster Monk. It really opens up the tree in a way that is very, very positive. I want to see a few more adjustments to kind of help reduce button bloat. That's still a big, big concern that I have for the spec. And I'm very concerned, especially now that we get like Statue and Dampen Harm and all that stuff, like it's part of the spec now. Like there's just so many buttons. So I'd like to see some button bloat reduction. So we'll see. Mistweaver changes, I think, are all pretty solid. How much are they going to have an impact on the wider gameplay with the new talents that you have? I don't know if it's going to be that massive, but I think Mistweaver Monk is still going to be, tuning aside from a playstyle standpoint, going to be very similar, but is going to be like a really nice, just hopefully some more talent choice. And I think that's the big thing that they're focusing on, is that they want to make it so that you can have some diversity in your build whenever you want it. And I like that. And then the Windwalker change, again, initially my thought on it is I like it better than just grabbing Jadefire Stomp, because Fist of Fury is going to be very important to your rotation, I believe, in A War Within. So getting a free Jadefire Stomp out every 20 seconds, I think is going to be quite nice. Could be trolly if you're trying to like channel and your Jadefire Stomp procs on like after the mob dies. So like it's going to depend. But in theory, I like the idea for those that don't want the button. Anyways, guys, that's the quick version of this video. I hope you all enjoyed it. I hope you all like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff if you want to follow me. I'm going to keep up with all the Monk developments that go on from War Within Alpha, whether I'm in it or not. And we're going to continue into Beta, and we're going to continue into War Within, where I plan on doing a full, true beginner's guide to all the Monk specs coming in War Within. It's the entire fucking series. So strap in if you're ready and excited to do Monk stuff, because I'm excited to do Monk stuff. Until the next video, I hope you all stay safe, hope you enjoy yourself, you have fun, you keep on gaming, and we'll see you next time.